Welcome to the Giants Prospect Profile, a mini-series we do within the Giants franchise where we go over top prospects throughout the organization, from AA Richmond up to AAA Sacramento. And next up on our list of prospects is Willie Arroyo, the 23-year-old left-handed pitcher, stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighs 167 pounds, and he was drafted in the compensation round in 2022 by the San Francisco Giants out of the state of California. And as far as Arroyo's ratings go, he is already an 80 overall B potential, so he is definitely MLB ready. He could go up to the big leagues today and immediately be effective. The guy has incredible stamina as well. He has the ability to work deep into ball games with 92 stamina. Not that that is usually our default option with starters, but he does have the ability to do so if he is dominating. And then if you take a look at his per 9 ratings, there's nothing really to complain about with those. The best of the bunch is his ability to limit walks with a 73 walks per 9 rating, but I mean, the K per 9 at 67, the hit per 9 at 61, the home run per 9 at 57, those are all fine, or at least above average, and they will continue to get better as well. Now, if you take a look at his repertoire, he has a 4-seam fastball, a 2-seam fastball, a splitter, and a slider. The 4-seamer usually sits anywhere from like 94 to 96 miles an hour, so he can throw upper 90s, and the 2-seamer is usually 93, 94. I don't think it's gotten up to 95, but I believe it could. And that because Arroyo's break rating isn't exactly the best, his slider is not as effective as a pitch as you would like it to be. His splitter is definitely the go-to best off-speed pitch that he has. He will work plenty of ground balls and strike out plenty of batters just burying that bottom of the zone or dropping off in the bottom of the zone into the dirt. And then you pair that with just working the corners, painting the black with the fastballs, having that 2-seamer hit the outside half on a backdoor 2-seamer, and then you just bury the splitter down in the zone. It's an effective combination there, but then he is going to need that slider to be effective if he wants to be a truly great starter, because you can't really rely on just a fastball and a splitter if you want to be dominant consistently. And now the slider can be effective trailing away from lefties, it's just since it doesn't break that well, it can get caught in bad spots where it just doesn't slide enough and it's just a meatball over the middle of the plate. And then there's just nowhere near enough movement on the slider, even when he does have it working, to throw it back foot against right-handed batters. So against righties, it's pretty much entirely just that splitter and the 2 fastballs. So you may be asking yourself, we already have quite a solid rotation filled with a lot of young players, and we've got a bunch of people coming up to the minors. What does Arroyo's future in this organization even look like? And you would be right to ask that question because Arroyo is still very young, and he's going to be a great MLB pitcher. He's only 23 years old, and he could possibly get us a very solid player. If we do decide to trade him, he could possibly be a trade chip. We also have somebody like Bud Vincent coming up to the system as well. He is also a left-handed pitcher. And then there could possibly be 2 spots open in the rotation next year when Sale leaves. Plus, if JB Bukauskas is not impressive, I just won't bring him back, as he's going to want like $8 million, and I'm not going to pay a guy $8 million to be okay. Now the problem is, do we want a rotation with 4 left-handed pitchers? Because as of right now, the only guy who's like guaranteed to have a spot in next year's rotation would be Marco Murillo when it comes to right-handers. And then you just have a bunch of lefties, guys like Jay Groom, Colby Allard, obviously Willie Arroyo, Bud Vincent's a left-handed pitcher, and you've got Braylon Marquez, who is currently a longman, but he's definitely an option to be looked at as a starter. Those guys are all left-handed pitchers. So that's just another thing that goes into factor if we want to trade him or what Willie Arroyo's future will be looking like. So obviously everything depends on what the situation looks like at the trade deadline this year, but trading Arroyo either at the deadline or maybe in the offseason could be an option worth exploring for us. But with that being said, that is going to wrap things up here for this edition of the San Francisco Giants franchise, the Prospect Profile edition of left-handed pitcher Willie Arroyo. I've been your host, Jerseyborn, and I am saying, people who are so deathly afraid of swearing that when they hear the word damn, they just like freak out are just the weirdest people on the planet.